Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your weekend live stream. A lot of people were asking for that. They wanted more streams on the weekend because people in school or people at work, but get time off on Saturday. It is Saturday, right? Sometimes I get confused. It is Saturday. How's everyone doing? Let's see. We got Matthew, we got Ben, we got Jack, we got Sachin, we got Marowane, Samuel, MM, Mandalata, Jack Andrew. Hi. Hey, everyone. Thomas, how's it going today? So, yeah, we've got content on the way. Just before I filmed, before this went live, I filmed a couple videos going on tech, going on talks. Yeah, I thought the Infinity War thumbnail was a little jokey. For the same colors. Anyway, you got the alert while you're watching one of my videos. Cool. Congrats, Matthew. I've actually never had that happen to any YouTube channel I've ever watched. I don't know what that looks like. Or does it like you're watching it and then it's just like, by the way, they're live? I did see Infinity War and we talked about it on Tailosive movie reviews. So watch it there. Anyway. Oh, cool. We got people getting some Tailosive shirts today. Congratulations. Finally got you live. Oh, yes, yes. You think Apple will start new product except for phone, speaker, watch, etc.? Started. Oh yeah. Well, the next video that's coming out, probably sometime tonight or maybe tomorrow, is about the AR glasses rumors that keep growing. If you weren't aware, there's rumors growing that Apple's working on a pair of AR glasses that have 8K displays in each eyepiece. But anyway, I talk a lot about that later in the video that's not been edited yet. But yeah, I'll talk about that later. Zach Talks Tech super chatted. Congrats to Zach for being the first super chatter of today's live stream. Thank you, Zach, who says congrats on hitting 90K plus. Well done. Thank you very much. Yes, thanks to you guys for getting us past 90K. Now it's just, yeah, it's the final countdown to 100K. That's the big milestone. Probably get a special video for that. Yeah, that's exciting. I'm glad we finally got that. I haven't even been doing this full time for a year yet. So yeah, I guess it is technically possible we could hit exactly 100K on the day that I hit a year, which will be cool. That'll be really cool. Yeah, there's likely to be a new MacBook refresh Tobinator at WWDC. Yeah. What do you have for us? More content. That's all I got for you. Like we hit 100,000 subscribers. Nothing really changes for me. So, did YouTube get back to you about that tweet? They did not. No, I actually have 3 other channels now that fall under qualifiable for monetization, as in they have over 4,000 hours of watch time, and they haven't approved any of them yet. We're still waiting. We're still waiting to get a response. I just made a video on where AirPower is. Hashtag WherePower, right? Like what? I think it's. I think we should just assume it's not happening, and then if it does happen, we'll be pleasantly surprised. How much have you been demonetized? Well, since the new YouTube rules have rolled out, there's been a lot less demonetization, but it's not gone. It's still definitely there. There's still some videos that will get hit and get reviewed, and then they get approved. I've never once had a video that was demonetized, and then YouTube said, yes, that was supposed to be demonetized. Every single time they're like, oops, our bad, oops, our bad. So yeah, I've never, it still happens, but a lot less. It used to be like every single video. Now it's like one every 5 to 6 videos gets demonetized. It's not as common. Do you think Apple will make a car? Asks the Google Assistant who we have in chat. I'm very unsure. Because they're definitely experimenting with it, as in like a little higher there. They're definitely toying with the idea. We know they're researching some kind of car, whether it's software or just hardware. I mean, whether it's just software or an actual Tesla competitor. Either way, I lean towards more software because Apple competing with Tesla is going to be very tricky. They're very behind, especially if you consider how many charge stations Tesla has. So yeah, they're very pushed back in that regard. But anyway, we got a second super chat here from Angus who says, and you'll get the silver play button. Love you, by the way. Thank you, Angus. Appreciate it. Yeah, actually, most people who apply to get their silver play button typically don't get them for like a long time, several months, potentially years. So by the time I get the silver play button, which I will apply for, I may be closer to 500,000 or 600,000 because at least the YouTubers I watch, whenever they apply for the silver play button, they don't get it for like years. So I won't hold my breath on that. But anyway, next super chat is from VG. Thank you very much. Who says, I've been waiting to catch you so I could do this. Thank you for your content. Thank you, VG. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. You'll be one of the hipsters who get the new silver play button. Oh, that's right. For those of you who don't know, there's actually a different silver play button now. I mean, with the exception of the diamond play button, they're I don't know what they are. They're more of like a metal sheet than they are like a plaque now. So yeah, that's changed. Yeah, I also remember Taco Boy when these streams were 30 people. That's how this all started. It was just a couple of people. What would you rather have, durability or 3D touch? I have a video about it on my tech channel, iHunter. I also love your content. Thank you, iHunter. Appreciate it. Durability or 3D touch? I use 3D touch a lot, so I'd say I'd keep that. And for the most part, it's not like our smartphones are super durable anyway. Like you drop them, they don't last very well. They usually don't make it. But I'm not a guy who drops phones very much. I'm very respectful to my phones. I've had minor dings and instances in the past, but nothing where I broke the glass in a long time. I've just never had that. So yeah, please. I really want Apple to keep 3D Touch. I really hope that rumor's not true. Ben Obi Texas, remember me, Drew? Yes, I do. Thank you for super chatting. I did a collaboration with Ben Obi, which will be on his channel soon. Jack Van Houten says, love how there is growing content on every channel. Keep it up. Thank you, Jack. And press F to pay respects to Jack. He is now the highest super chatter of the live stream. Thank you, Jack, for being the top supporter of this live stream. Anyway, Matthew K says, any wishes for WatchOS 5? I really don't need WatchOS 5. I just want AirPower support. But so yeah, thank you, Jack. Matthew K, there's not a whole lot I can think of to add. For one, the podcasts app, I don't know why that's not on the Apple Watch. In case you wanted to like go on a run or something, like why can't you just listen to a podcast via cellular? More watch face options. There's a growing rumor saying that they're going to add third-party watch faces, but that's something we've wanted since the beginning. So I don't take for granted that that's definitely happening. It might happen, but yeah, I'm not sure. Have you seen Painfully Honest Tech's video on you? Of course you did, which is a dumb question. I just wanted to know your thoughts. Yeah, I watched Painfully Honest Tech's video on him. It was great. Yeah, and he said you could trust me, which I was surprised by, because I was going to say, if you asked me, should you trust Tailosive Tech? I'd be like, well, if you're asking the question, probably not. And I think that's more what the comment said. I was like, just trust that what you can trust is that I'm being honest. I'm being exactly what I say I'm being, which is bias, which is saying that I'm not going to pretend to be in the middle, because I think channels that do that are lying more than I am. Because while you may disagree with me, and while you may think my perspective of tech is very skewed, or that it's not fair, on top of that, it may not be fair and it may be skewed, but it is dead honest. It is me telling you exactly what I'm thinking, and I'm not holding anything back, which I think for the most part, a lot of you guys appreciate. You like knowing that I'm not sugarcoating anything. I'm not going to say that I like a particular product because they paid me to, or because they sent it to me, just because someone sends me something, or just because it has a lot of features and Lucas super chatted and just said 10. Thank you. I don't know what that means. He could have spelt it X, but whatever. Vladan super chatted, says, is it worth buying the current iPhone 10 or waiting for the next model? If they make an LCD version, do you think it will be the most popular model? No. Usually when Apple does a cheaper model and a premium model, the premium model usually outsells the cheaper ones. That's just typically how it goes. So I think more people are going to buy the new 10 Plus and the 10 than they are. Yeah, I really don't think that one will be the most popular. But the only way I could recommend you go current generation iPhone 10 right now is if you get a really good deal on one. Definitely don't buy one from Apple. You're so close. It's about to be May, and then when it's May, it's only September. So you're 4 months away from the newest iPhone. So you could buy one brand new right now, but it's only going to be the latest iPhone for 4 months. And there's kind of a ripe season to buy products. Like there's a time where you should buy them and they're ripe for the plucking and they'll be current for a long time. And there's a bad time to buy them, and that's getting closer and closer to the refresh. So unless you find an iPhone 10 for really cheap, like if you get some carrier deal or you find one used for like $600 or something, then I could understand it. But no, I'd say go ahead and wait. T-Tech Mania says, awesome videos, also Apple Sheep. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Helps us do what we do. Ruby Super Chatted says, haven't donated in a while. No question here. Just here to donate to my favorite tech YouTuber. Thank you, Ruby. I appreciate that. You guys are nice. You guys are too nice. All this money, by the way, is going right back into the network. If you want to know where it's going, just take a look at all the other channels. All that work is being put into them. None of this money is being put in my pocket. So, yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it. 6.1-inch LCD is going to be the same price as the iPhone 8 used, but lacks 3D touch and wireless charging. I really hope not. I don't like the idea of this LCD iPhone. I'm okay with the idea of a budget model, but every rumor about it keeps getting worse. It's like, and it'll have an aluminum back and it'll be 3D, no 3D touch. And I'm like, come on. Anyway, Benobi Tech is our next super chatter. Says, thoughts on iPhone 10 being dead. I made a video with my opinion, but I want to hear yours. Also, Drew, I love your videos. I'm kind of confused by why people keep saying it, other than the fact that they're like, oh, sales are lower. And it's like, yeah, the entire market sales are lower. It's not just the 10. It's all companies. If you look at the growth market from Q4 2017 to Q1 2018, all smartphone companies experienced a giant drop in sales. Yeah, including, and everyone does, because there's less and less people buying new smartphones every year. And there's just, for one, there's just no reason to, because there's less and less convincing reasons to buy a new one. Most importantly, like the features they're adding, while cool and bezel-less displays are cool, it's not like everyone's like, oh, time to spend $1,000 again. It's like they buy a phone and it lasts them several years. So there's less and less people that are like, I need to buy a new one every single year. So the iPhone 10 sales, I'm sure they're lower, and I'm sure that I was reading that Apple overestimated how many were going to be sold, but don't act like they're doing terribly, because any other company would die to be able to sell $1,000 iPhones and get 8 million sales a month. Like that's an insane amount of money. Tons of other companies would kill to get that much money out of them. So I won't say the iPhone 10 is dead. I see them all over the place. I see so many people with iPhone 10s. It's still by all means a success. I just think that anytime an Apple phone slumps slightly below what Apple expected, everyone assumes it's dead. Oh no, Apple's failing. They're doomed. And it means nothing, really. Anyway. Our next super chat is from iOS Gamer, who didn't say anything, but I appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much. And then our next super chatter tied our previous record. I believe his name was Lucas, but he retracted his message. But thank you for the super chat, by the way. I appreciate that. No comment, though. T-Tech says, Apple rocks. I also cover Apple products. Check me out. Okay, guys, check them out. T-Tech, thank you for your support. Next super chat's from Krista White, who also donated. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. No comment. Let's see. What are the odds we get a Google driverless bike before we get an Apple car? Driverless bike? No, come on. Well, knowing Google, they are kind of weird. They might do that. I encourage you to start making YouTube videos. We talk all about that on Tailosive Talks, so please check out that channel, because it's more about Tailosive. In this channel, we're keeping it more towards tech. Next super chat's from Lucas. No comment once again, but thank you very much. Who is your favorite person in the office, and which do you think represents you? Oh, I can't say there's a favorite. I mean, there's funny things I like about I don't know. Like when I was growing up, I related a lot to Jim Halpert, but then eventually got up to identifying more with Steve Carell as Michael because it's just a guy trying to be funny and he's not very funny, and that's what I feel like I relate to the most. Anyway, next super chat's from Trinary Harry, who says, "Do you think Apple will ever buy Tesla?" Yeah, I want them to, but I feel like Tesla's also doing fine on their own. Like they've gotten this far. They're still not making very much money, but Elon Musk is very passionate about that company and he's poured a lot of his own resources into it. So I'm not going to say Apple wants to buy them yet. It would be cool if they did because I think they could fix a lot of the UI complaints people have. Um, so yeah, I mean, I want them to, but I don't think they will. I think Tesla's pretty much doing fine how they are. And Elon Musk is a smart guy. He's gonna lead Tesla and do just fine. Let's see. Drunk Canuck Beer Review says, "Why is iOS 11 still littered with bugs? Big fan." It really depends on who you ask. If you're getting a lot of iOS 11 bugs, I apologize, but sadly, that's just not everyone. It's kind of an inconsistent experience. Kind of like my experience with Windows 10 is always horrible, and for other people, it works just fine. Like if you talk to someone like Front Page Tech, he had terrible experiences with iOS 11 that made him stop using Apple products. He just couldn't take it anymore. But if you talk to someone like me or Update OS, Sam, I talked with him and he's had like little to no issues with iOS 11. It's been working perfectly fine for him. And we're like almost identical sub counts, which I just thought was interesting. But depending, my friends who are using iOS 11, they're having no problems, but then other people are having big problems. So yeah, I just have no idea what to say about it other than I hope they fix themselves. I hope Apple can perfect it more. I'm sorry if it's not working out for you. They're saying I'm an Apple fan, but there are so many graphical bugs all over Twitter. I can screenshot them and tweet you them. I've seen them. No, like believe me, people treat my Twitter like it's Apple customer support. Like I design all this stuff. Like, Drew, why is iOS 11 like this? It's like I don't know. I don't make this stuff. But I get the bugs and I see people seeing bugs, but I'm not getting them. Is my point. Is like I'm not seeing all of those. I'm not getting those myself. My friends aren't getting those myself, and other people I talk to aren't getting those myself. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry if it's happening to you, but for people expecting an Infinity War review, we did an impressions video over on Tailosive Movie Reviews. This is a tech channel, not movie reviews. Don't worry, Lucas. I didn't forget about you. You super chatted, says, "What are your AirPods 2 wishes?" Really just more colors. I mean, you can do better battery, you can do better sound and stuff, but I really just want more than one color. That's about it. Everything else about it is fine. Ruby says, "It's funny that I never had issues with Windows 7, but I've had the exact same issues you've been having with Windows 10. How did they screw it up?" For me, at least, and I recently uploaded a vlog about this on Tailosive Talks. I did a big rant on that. Shameless plugging constantly. It's just because there's lots of content and I want you guys to have as much content as you want, because clearly if you're watching this crappy live stream, you watch anything I make. So please check out the other channels as well. But basically, it's been inconsistent. Sometimes Windows 10 will work fine. I'll turn on for those who don't know, on Tailosive Gaming, I have my own PC. And I'll turn it on and it'll work fine and I'll game. But other days I'll turn it on and I'll be like, okay, let's play Rocket League or something. So I hit Rocket League, doesn't open. Nothing happens. And I'm like, that's weird. Maybe the shortcut's broken. So I click on Steam. Steam doesn't open. I click on it. Nothing happens. I even live streamed this happening. It doesn't open. Install Windows 7. Do I have to pirate that, or are you expecting me to buy a copy? Either way, I'm not excited to go through the process of downgrading. If you have to downgrade for a product to work better, I think there's something wrong with it. And yes, that can apply to you people who don't like iOS 11. I kind of wish Apple, if they screwed up, could make it easier for you guys to downgrade. But so yeah, things wouldn't open. And I was like, well, maybe it's the CPU being slow or something. But then I opened like Fortnite. I know that's an old, boring game, and I don't really like playing it either. But I was just trying to see if anything would open. I hit the Unreal Engine launcher. That opens instantly. I hit Fortnite. That starts playing right away. No worries at all. It starts playing. And I'm like, okay, so I can still open games. And when the games do open, they run fine. GTA 5 runs fine. I'm playing at 2K at 144 hertz. Everything looks great. But just getting apps to open for some reason is inconsistent. So I played like 3 rounds of Fortnite, and then Rocket League starts launching. It was like a 30-minute delay. And I'm like, what's the problem there? That's not hardware because clearly the CPU was allowing the games to open and stuff, and Steam couldn't open, but Unreal Engine could open. So everyone in the comments was just saying reset Windows. And I'm like, so that's the answer to all our problems is we just have to reset the entire computer. I did restart the computer, by the way. I went into system updates. I made sure everything was up to date. I hit update on everything. I made sure there was no more Windows 10 updates, which is a very rare occasion. I then went into GeForce Experience and made sure my GPU's drivers were all up to date, everything running on the latest version. I do all that, then I start live streaming, and the microphone I use to do my gaming streams with, that the pitch on it drops, and it sounds like I go through second puberty. Now all of a sudden my voice is super low pitched, and everyone's like, "What's wrong?" And it's just broken. And I'm like, that's no setting. There's no setting that lowers the pitch. We stopped the stream, we started again, and it works fine. And it's like, okay, that's not hardware because this mic works fine. I've never had this problem before. All of a sudden, just there's a bunch of software problems, and I'm running everything on the latest version, the latest drivers, latest everything. I've restarted the computer. I've tried everything. It's inconsistent. Again, not everyone with Windows 10 is having these problems. I've met plenty of people who can get Windows 10 to work perfectly, no problems at all. But it seems like, and that's the cringy thing, is this exact same problem of apps not opening. Exact same thing happened in 2012 when I got a brand new PC, and it was like a very advanced one. This new one I got kind of cheap because I didn't really want much out of it, but the old one I got was like a top of the line PC at the time, and it still had these problems. Still the 10. I still stand by that. Yeah, I like the look of the 10, holding it because I'm still using my Red A Plus at the moment because I like it. It's nice and I like the size. But still, when I go back to holding my old iPhone 10, I'm like, this is surprisingly light and like it's a very rigid design and very structured and bezel-less. And I usually I'm not a guy who's like the iPhone 5 was the perfect iPhone. I'm like, no, it wasn't. There weren't any biometrics. That was annoying. I wanted Face ID or Touch ID, something, not a passcode. That's annoying. I like Apple Pay. I like iOS 11's design. I like that look. I don't want to go back to iOS 6. I'm more of a futurist guy. I always want the next thing. I'm not really much of a guy who prefers the old way of doing things. So, yeah. Next super chat. Heard iOS 12 will be like a Snow Leopard release. If that just means perfecting the last one, maybe I see your point, but it's very hard to like leak what the next iOS is going to be because we don't know. There's like we can ask Foxconn what they're working on, and we can get sneak peeks of future designs and stuff. But when it comes to software, that's all being done internally, so it's very hard to get the word out about those. So yeah, it's impossible to know. I think I saw some concepts for iOS 12 that were really cool. I like the idea of them making lighter versions of iOS for older versions of iPhone because I was tweeting earlier, there's reports saying that iOS 12 is actually still going to run on the iPhone 5S, which if you stretch that out, that means the iPhone 5S got 6 years of support. You're not getting that on Android, but still, I like the idea of them saying like, let's not packed that 4-inch display with as many features as possible. You need to be a bit more minimal. So then making like a iOS Arial, like a more minimal iOS that doesn't have as many things that the 5S doesn't need, and allows the 5S to run better. Because I think a lot of the reasons that maybe on a 5S, iOS 11 kind of slows it down and makes it harder to run is because there's a ton of features that the 5S wasn't really meant to have. So I like the idea of like skimming it down, making it just the essentials for older phones so that the older phones can run better. So I hope that happens, but I also think iOS 12 is going to have some noticeable design changes as well. I don't think it's just going to be, we're sorry that iOS 11 sucked so bad. So 12 is just about software patches. It's like they're going to try to have software patched at any time as much as possible. But no, they're never going to stop doing future features so that they can focus more on, not having bugs because some people have bugs and bugs will always be there. There will always be bugs. In other words, you can't stop that. I don't really like having skins on my device, and that's not from personal preference. That's from personal experience. I put a dbrand skin on my old iPhone 6 Plus, and it didn't age well. Like, first of all, you have to make sure you adhere it to your phone very precisely, and if you don't get it just right, it just doesn't look good. And then over time, they age and they collect dirt and they collect scratches a lot more. And I ended up peeling it off after like having it on there for 2 years. I don't like skins. I'm not a fan. Um, and yeah, I do get kind of sick of YouTubers constantly telling everyone to get a dbrand. It's like, okay, calm down. TVOS wish list. I don't know, probably picture in picture. That'd be kind of nice. While playing a game, you can watch stuff. Um, some people, yeah, I know. I get some people like skins. They usually look really nice for like a week, and then they start to really show signs of wear over time. And then taking them off the phone is just like the worst experience ever. I want to skin to make my phone red. That's actually the exact skin I got for my 6 Plus. Is I wanted my 6 Plus to look red, so I got a dbrand skin that was red. But it didn't age well. I'm not a fan of it, especially if you live in a place like in Northern California where it gets very, very hot in the summers, because either you're charging your phone a lot or your phone will be in the passenger side of your car while you're driving and it'll heat up. And when it gets really, really hot, the dbrand skins themselves will actually start to peel off again if you live in a place where it gets hot like I do. So it's partially just not good for people in my area. Ruby super chatted and says, Tailosive Tech sponsored by dbrand. No, we're not. Yeah, I have videos on my opinions on sponsorships over on Tailosive Talks. You can check those out. How often do you have to correct people 10, not X? I actually don't do that. In fact, I was talking with was it my tax person about they were going down my list of like things I purchased this year, and they were like, so how much was the iPhone X? I didn't even correct them because that's on Apple. I don't think it's the community or the people's fault for thinking that the iPhone 10 is called iPhone X, because in commercials and stuff, when they advertise it, or if you see a picture of it, you read it as iPhone X. Like you're not wrong, because when you hear an ad or you look at an ad, you're not thinking, oh, that's iPhone 10. The only way to know if it's pronounced iPhone 10 is if you watch a video about it where someone specifically calls it that. So I blame Apple for that. I don't blame the people for not understanding how it's pronounced. Apple should have called it Edition, because then we'd all be on the same page. Or if you wanted to call it 10, just use the number, because then people would have said, oh, it's the iPhone 10. Now everyone, they read a banner, they see an ad for it, they read articles about it, and everywhere that's listed, everyone sees iPhone X, which isn't wrong because it's the letter X. So that's just Apple being stupid about branding. I wish they wouldn't have done that. So yeah, I almost never correct. I don't think I've ever corrected someone on that and been like, so what do you think of the iPhone X? I'll just accept that. And I'm like, I know what you're talking about. I'm not that guy who's like, actually, Apple says it's pronounced iPhone 10, because Apple's wrong about a lot of things. Apple also doesn't believe in the term iPhones. They believe in the term iPhone devices, which I think is confusing. They don't think you should ever use plural like iPads or iPods. They're just like iPod devices or iPhone products or iPhone devices or iPad. They think it should always be singular. It should be like plural, like deer is plural. Like there's one deer or there's a herd of deer. And I'm like, what? Why do you got to complicate things? Just iPhones. What? You're criticizing Apple? Who are you? I have a channel that is biased towards the best tech company. Apple does plenty of things wrong. I do not defend everything they do. Their naming's dumb. The Apple Book is wrong. The new iPad I don't like. There's plenty of things they do I don't like, but I will defend them because they're still the best tech company. I'll defend things I believe in, and everything I say in my videos is my honest to God truth. It's not me reading the news and being like, oh, people don't like that Apple's doing that. How do I defend them on this? It's usually someone says something about Apple in the news, and I either agree or disagree with it, and I make a video based on that. Like when Apple issued this iOS 11 update that made all third-party iPhone 8 displays not work, that was dumb. Like they should have at least warned people about that. And I don't defend that, but yet everyone assumes that I defend me because of I defend them for anything because of the Linus Tech Tip situation. They're like, oh, you defend them if they killed people, and I'm like, no, it's just I defend what I believe, and it happens that Apple and I happen to agree on a lot of different things, not everything, but I still think they're the best. And if another tech company, in my opinion, became better than Apple, then I would cater towards them. That's why this channel is not called, Apple Sheep. It's not called Everything Apple Defender, Apple's Lawyer. I could name myself that, but then if Apple ended up not being the best tech company, the name would be out of date. So that's why it's called Tailosive Tech. Anyway, who would you like to see as the next CEO of Apple? I'd be good with Craig Federighi. He's funny. And I think that if we put Craig in charge of Apple, we probably have a lot more attention given to the Mac lineup, like because he's kind of in charge of Macintosh and what goes on with Mac OS. So I feel like if Craig was in charge, maybe we'd have a Mac Mini refresh and we'd have an updated Mac Pro by now. And I don't know, probably he just has a softer spot for Macintosh, so he'll lean towards that way. He's a funny guy too. No, I would not agree with Apple if they killed people. Absolutely not. It's just some people just assume that because I defend Apple a lot, that I'll defend them no matter what, which I understand that confusion. But if the people who are making those trollish comments actually watched some of my content, they would understand that I do. It's not like some people would call Tailosive Tech a safe space for Apple sheep. It's not, because I'll bash Apple products too, and I'll say, like half the year, I'm going to tell you not to buy certain Apple products. I'm going to say it's not worth it. Like the guy earlier who was asking, should I buy an iPhone 10 right now? I told him, no, you shouldn't. It's a bad idea. If I was an Apple sheep, like lawyer, and I always defended Apple no matter what, I would have said, yes, it's the best smartphone ever. You should buy it right now. But or if I worked at an Apple store, I would tell you to buy it because, that's my job. I'm a journalist. So I'm for making content that, I want to talk about and you guys hopefully find interesting. So did you return your HomePod? No, I still got all three. Oh, I have 666 videos. That's spooky. I didn't even realize that. Hey man, you gonna order the Model 3? I can't because of money. I can't afford one. And on top of that, while Teslas are very cool, and I definitely, because the car I have now, it's a little Hyundai. It's not, the best car in the world, but it's fine. It works. There's plenty of trunk space. We can seat 5. On a full tank, I can go 440 miles. It's got a good mileage on it. I fill up the gas tank like 2 to 3 times a month. Like it's a good, reliable car. It's no Tesla. I'm definitely not a car guy. I don't modify cars or look at cars. Or the only reason I want a Tesla is because it could drive itself. That's really my only appeal to it. And I like the idea of cars being able to drive themselves. But like if I did buy a Model 3, if I saved up my money and I put aside, like $1,000 a month for 40 months or whatever, and I just finally saved up enough that I could afford a Model 3, my life wouldn't change very much. It's still like, okay, now I have a pretty nice car. I still drive to and from work and to the store sometimes. Like I would have to charge my car a little more often. Like, oh, great, I spend all this money on a car. The range isn't as good now. And I'll be paying for, the gas. I won't be paying for gas, but I'll be paying for more because of the electric bill going up. So yeah, it's not going to change my life very much. And that's why it's not a big priority for me. As in, I would more likely save money for other things, like more editors, or invested back in the business, than I would a Tesla, because a Tesla I would get 1 to 2 videos out of, and I would make a couple of bucks on it. It'd be like I wouldn't get many fans or many subscribers from that. It's still just one video, and it wouldn't change my life very much. So that's why a Tesla right now is just not a priority for me. There's a billion other things I would buy before I buy a Tesla, though I still want one. Okay, like I if someone contacted me and said, hey, you know what, I'm gonna buy you a Tesla, I would love that person. I'd be like, thank you. And I would be so grateful. And it's still like my dream car. But again, there's plenty of other things. If I had that much money, I would spend on before a Tesla because it just doesn't change very much. I use Final Cut Pro. Another MKBHD collab. Yeah, I mean, he's a busy guy, but I've been thinking about hitting him up again. I would have to come up with a bunch of good questions to ask him. But yeah, I think it's possible me and Marquez might do another collaboration. It may happen. No, we don't. And guys, we don't want to hate on channels that don't want to collab, because if you want two YouTubers to have a collaboration video, you want them to want to, right? You don't want it to be an unconsensual collaboration. A bunch of you guys, a bunch of the fans, went over to Everything Apple Pro's channel after I uploaded that video about him and commented a bunch of things about me, like collab with Tailosive, and he deleted those. So I just took that as a hint, as in he's not interested. So let's not push it. I'm not offended by that. I don't think you should force people to collaborate with each other. You shouldn't be like, you have to collaborate, make a video together. Like, what would it even be? What would the collaboration be? Just us talking? But yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Do you think the trend in 2D design was started by iOS 7? I mean, Android kind of looked like that in certain ways, but Ian Lindsay says Tesla or iPhone from 2020. Depends on the Tesla, but yeah, I could take the Tesla, sell that, and use it for a lot more money. I could use that money on other things for the channel that I would care more about. iPhone from 2020, I may get a lot of money out of, because I would somehow have a phone from the future, but it probably will just be a little thinner and the notch is a little smaller. So, I mean, what difference does it make? But thank you, Ian. Tom super chatted, says watching on my iPhone 3GS. Lol. I don't know if I believe you, but I'd be interested to see a picture of that. So, thank you. Generally reacting says he doesn't like the 2D designs. He misses the 2000s in terms of aesthetics. Yeah, I mean, I guess some people prefer that, but yeah, I'm sure they test these things and they check to see what people prefer the most, and that's probably what they went with. I don't know. I'm sorry, you're in the minority. Someone with a complicated name super chatted, says, if I paid you to buy a Tick watch and Android Wear watch, would you review it and then send it to me? Yeah, if you paid for shipping. I don't know where you are in the world, but I'm in Chico, so if you wanted to pay for shipping and the product itself, I guess, don't expect me to have nice things to say about it, because I love my Apple Watch and nothing really comes close to this. If you didn't know this, I've reviewed Android phones in the past. I mean, Android watches in the past, and I don't like Android Wear too much. But I mean, yeah, that's up to you. And if you are going to do it, yeah, I mean, just know that I'm probably not going to have nice things to say about it, and you should also pay for shipping. Let's see. Can you talk about the new iPhone 11 in a vid, and what do you think about the SE2, and are you going to get it for a review? I'm probably going to get the iPhone SE2, because if it comes out, the point is it's going to be budget, so it's not going to cut into my budget very much to buy it, unbox it, and review it, because it's a cheap phone. And I'm also just curious to see an iPhone 5-esque design with a glass back, and it'll look a lot like a iPhone 4, which is going to be cool. It'll be very retro and new at the same time. And who knows? I've kind of found out that I liked experimenting with different types of phones, mostly iPhones. I don't like switching to Android very much because I lose so many features, but I don't lose those features when I switch to other iPhones. So I kind of like testing out other iPhones. So I might even try testing out making the SE my dedicated iPhone, my daily driver for a while. I've seen Infinity War. We did a review of it on Tailosive Movie Reviews. You can check that out. Do you know anyone working at Apple? We've had people who have contacted me. We've had people in the chat and people who have emailed me and stuff that work at either Apple stores or at Apple, but I don't know them very well. No. There is one fan named Eric who I've talked to, who is he's going to Worldwide Developers Conference. He's a developer and he got a ticket to go. And he said that he's going to try to film stuff for us there, and then we can use that in our recap video of WWDC. So he's going to be there. He's going to try his best to get close-up footage of the new products that come out there, but I'm sure it'll be busy, so he might not get a good shot. But he'll still try to, and then he'll send us the footage, and we'll credit him. So thank you, Eric, by the way, for showing up to WWDC and videoing stuff on behalf of Tailosive. Thank you. Lucas super chatted again and says, I'm going to buy me an iPad Pro 2018. What accessories can you recommend for me to buy, and what accessories would be a bad idea? I always recommend a smart cover. Using an iPad without one is pretty difficult. But I'm not a fan of the smart keyboards. I think they're too expensive, and I've even had people message me and say they age very poorly. Like they show signs of wear, and they can actually kind of scratch up the iPad itself. So don't buy a smart keyboard, but do buy a smart cover. Using an iPad without a smart cover is pretty difficult. If you're an artist, get the Apple Pencil. If you're not, don't bother. It's expensive. What do you think about the end of the airport and time capsule lines? I think it's bizarre because you can still buy them from the Apple store. This is something not everyone looked up, because everyone's like, Apple Airport's dying or they're just being discontinued. But then if you go to the Apple store and you go to the networking section, you can still buy the Airport Extreme and the Airport Express and the Airport Time Capsule. They're all still available to purchase. So I guess they're just not making them anymore. That doesn't mean you can't buy them for a long time, because I guess they're just going to keep selling them until they're all gone. But that could be a long time. That could be years technically. So yeah, once they're out of stock, they're gone. Okay. Well, I mean, if I buy it, it still ships in just like a couple days. So, I mean, they're not completely gone yet. I mean, I suppose they're being discontinued for a reason. It's likely because not that many people are buying them. But I'm actually thinking about getting one for us at the office, because with 2 people editing on 2 different iMacs, hopefully, for all the different Tailosive channels in the network, it would be kind of nice to have like a base station that we could offload footage onto and be like, here, you access that footage, you access that footage. So we might end up getting one, maybe not from Apple, but yeah. Lucas says, thank you for your recommendations. You are welcome. Thank you for your super chat. Trine says, will Apple ever sponsor you? Check out Trahari Tech. Okay, check them out, guys. Trahari Tech. Apple usually doesn't sponsor anyone. They're definitely not going to sponsor me, because they haven't sponsored plenty of other much larger YouTube channels. Why is Roger's box behind you, the robot cleaner? I don't know. Like we have cables underneath that desk, and if we put the box right in between them, Roger doesn't get stuck under there. So yeah, the box is just over there. Why are the Apple boxes on the wall? I don't know. But Apple's not sponsored much larger channels than us. So, you know, basically it's like, well, Apple doesn't sponsor iJustine. Like sometimes they give them products ahead of release, or sometimes they'll get them sneak peeks, but sponsorship means like pay, like give me money to say good things about them. And that would kind of skew the response a little bit, because they probably wouldn't like me saying certain things, because I actually say a lot of things about Apple that I don't like. And if they were sponsoring me, they probably wouldn't want me to do that. They'd probably be like, no, Drew, don't say those things about us. We're sponsoring you. Remember, don't say bad things. And I'd be like, but I don't like this product. That's stupid. So it would get complicated. If Apple did reach out to me and want to do some type of sponsorship, I wouldn't ask for money. I would ask for products, because if you send me products, then I can review them and be harsh if I need to and say bad things if I need to. But if you send me money, things get more complicated. And it would also just save me a ton of money if they just sent me the products either early or the day they came out, or at a heavily discounted price or something. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't think I'd want money from Apple. I would just want products from Apple. Schnoo super chatted, says, should I wait for the new iPad Pros or get one now? Don't get one now. I'm just going to say it. Even if you find one for used, unless it's a really good deal, that's my exception. If you can find if you can find an iPad for a really good price right now, like I'm going to sell my iPad Pro, my 10.5-inch one, to help cover the price of the new one. So, I mean, if you're interested in buying mine, I guess tag me on Twitter. It's the 10.5-inch one for 512 gigabytes, but it won't be retail. Just don't buy one from Apple right now, okay? Because they're going to get refreshed at June, early June. So yeah, don't buy one right now. What do you think of the Nokia notch? I don't get the argument that certain notches are smaller and that's better, because a notch is a notch, really. Like, it's still an intrusion on content. Like when you're watching videos, it's a little cut in, but it's still like you have less widgets on top than usual. So like whether it's an essential phone notch or it's an iPhone 10 notch, it's still there. I don't really understand why the size of it makes a difference, because it's still noticeable. Apple did not invent the notch, but they modernized it. So like other Android phone companies, they were okay with putting a notch on their phone because Apple did it. They didn't see the Essential phone and say, "Oh, we're doing notches now." The Essential phone sold horribly. So if anything, they would see the notch on that and decide not to. However, all the Android companies saw the iPhone 10 sell really well, and it had a notch, so they were like, "Okay, it's all right." So no, Apple didn't do it first, but they made it okay because it was a hot selling phone. Anyway, Sai Kapu says, love your vids. Check out 24/7 Tech. Love from CT. Thank you very much. Thank you for super chatting. And I think this is technically the new record holder of today's super chat, Casey Sims. Thank you for super chatting. Everyone press F to pay respects to Casey for donating the most at 10 Canadian dollars. It says, I'm in the military and leave my phone at home so it doesn't break. Do you think the Apple Watch with cellular would hold up in the field through mud? Also a huge fan. Keep it up. Great question. So yeah, that's a very valid question. If you leave your phone at home, you'd want that cellular Apple Watch. If you're planning on taking that watch into tough places and it's going to be through the field in mud, it is water resistant, so I think that would also apply to mud, and mud's not going to hurt it too much right after you just wipe it off. It can clean it off. I might recommend, though, you get a stainless steel one, because if you get the stainless steel one, you're not going to be noticing all the scuffs, all the scratches on the glass. That's what I have, and I've been very hard on this watch, just hitting it against walls and against door frames. And I was wearing this watch when we were moving into Chico, and it scratched against metal and hard, while moving furniture around. That happened all the time, and it's still pristine. There's not a single scuff on it. Whereas if you get the cheaper aluminum Series 3 Apple Watch and you take it into the field and you're very hard on it, you're going to notice a lot of the scratches. You're going to notice all the little dings, and it'll get worse and worse over time. So if you can't afford it, I would suggest getting the Sapphire display one. If you can't, the Series 3 will make it. It's water resistant. It can get mud on it. In fact, I painted these walls myself with this watch on. I got paint and everything splattered on the watch, and I could just wash it off and come right off. So I'm sure it can handle mud, no problem. Like I wear this in the shower every time I shower. So like it's very durable when it comes to waterproofing, and I'm sure mud as well. So when it comes to durability, I think Sapphire is probably the best bet, but I understand that's more expensive, so maybe not worth it. Hey Drew, do you think 16K is good and or necessary if it's in context of AR VR goggles Apple is making? So yeah, Zach, that is a topic that we're about to do a video on. I just filmed it. I personally have a theory on what these reports mean, what these rumors are saying about the 16K AR glasses. Personally, I don't think the consumer ones are going to have that. I think Apple's developing a prototype version that allows them to experiment with AR operating system building. And they're only going to have 1 to 2 of them because they're going to cost tens of millions of dollars to make. They're not going to make I don't think personally that the customer grade AR glasses are going to be 8K in each eyepiece. I think Apple's just working on prototypes that are designed to handle anything so that they can design reality OS and how things are going to work with holograms on here. And then when they make the actual consumer grade ones, they'll be a lot cheaper, of course, and the resolutions will probably be a lot lower. So that's what I think's happening, but I expand on that in the video that'll either come out tonight or tomorrow. But I already filmed the video on it. But yeah, we're definitely talking about that because that's a very outlandish, crazy rumor that the new Apple AR glasses are going to be 8K in each eyepiece, so 16K total. Slim Skills Super Chat, it says, why can't we just downgrade the older iPhones to their release iOS software? I would be okay with that. I think it's Apple wanting people to be on the latest firmware. I think they want them to be up to date because when there's bugs and things, they don't want any confusion. They kind of want to do all the work for you. And doing the downgrade process is relying people to know more about like iOS 10 and iOS 11, and they want people on the latest version as much as possible, without forcing it upon them, like Windows 10, where it's just like, you will have Windows now, you have to consciously hit install iOS 11. But yeah, I personally wish you could. Like, if you find out that iOS 11 is not nice to your phone, there should be an easy option to switch back. I don't agree with that, but in my experience, I've always liked having the latest version, and the latest version has never destroyed my phone. So that's why I'm not worrying. I'm not concerned about that. But thank you, for Slim for super chatting. I appreciate it. Obi Valdez super chatted. No comment, but thank you very much. And then Tailosive Music, our own Tailosive Music from the network, says, hello, everyone. Hope you are having a wonderful day. Thank you for the super chat. And also keep in mind, people, if you want to know what kinds of music I listen to, or if you want daily vids of cool remixes that are promoting independent artists and promoting their type of content, please check out Tailosive Music. They post on a daily basis as well. And yeah, Tailosive donated to Tailosive, though it's not run by me. It's run by a fan. In fact, if you think that you have to be like an Apple sheep, or you have to be biased towards Apple to work for or with Tailosive, the guy who runs Tailosive Music does not use an iPhone. He does not use a Mac. He uses a PC and an Android phone. So keep in mind, I'm all for disagreeing with people. In fact, I think that having a biased opinion on a tech channel is a great thing because it challenges people for differentiating opinions. In fact, I like being surrounded by people that don't agree with what I think, because it makes discussions and debates a lot more interesting. So I like that my good friend Wyatt, who I talk with and hang out with all the time, uses a PC and a Samsung Galaxy Note 5. Like, he's just, I don't have to I mean, if you don't use Apple, it's not like I'm going to hate you. Or I'm not going to want to work with you. I'm perfectly content with people who don't like Apple. And I like being able to communicate with them about what they like and what I don't like, and having experience. And I also just like knowing people that have access to Android, so that we can have people who are a bit more well-versed on differentiating things. Like, I believe when talking with Tailosive Music, he mentioned that if he had to buy an Android phone, he would get a Pixel 2. And I heavily disagree with that. But, we can put our disagreements aside, and we don't have to hate each other for that. So anyway, we got people messaging me. I'm on your stream. Quick question. Would I maybe be on the tech podcast sometime? Maybe. I'll have to get back to you on that, Benji, but thanks for asking. Let's see. Did I miss a chat here? No, I didn't. Okay, great. Is Note 9 predictions and thoughts? I'm hoping by the time the Galaxy Note 9 comes out, they'll be able to put Touch ID under the screen. Not that it matters to me, but that's just something I think the Note series would need to stand up and above the S9, because the S9 was really a very, very tiny update on the S8. So if they want people to get excited for the Note 9, they're going to have to do something a little more special. Would you rather have the notch decrease in width or height? Width, because then you could have battery percentage. Height wouldn't really do anything. I don't know. I'm fine with the notch. I like that it keeps things minimal. I just don't get the argument of this notch is smaller, and it's like, okay, it's still there. It doesn't, whether it's the notch is this big or this big. It changes a microscopic amount of your content, because it's still a little cutout. Are you really using the 8 Plus? I am. It's right here. I don't have my 10 with me. I have to reset Touch ID every single day to get it to work. Let's see if I can get it to work for you here. There it goes. Yeah, I can reset it and re-register my fingerprint all the time, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I have to hold it just right, because if I don't put it on there in the right way, it'll lock. So I have to be very specific. I have to line it up just right. Nope, that didn't do it. Nope, that didn't do it. There it goes. Okay, got it. So yeah, that's it works sometimes. I don't think the 8 Plus is better than the 10. It's just I like getting used to the old traditional iPhones again, and I like the size. That way, when I upgrade to the 10 Plus, it's a much more noticeable change than from 10 to 10 Plus. So, yeah, some people have stopped talking about the Apple over-ear headphones. Someone was asking about, do you think Apple's going to make more audio products? I really hope they do. I really want like Apple Pro Pods or whatever they're going to be called. I think I would get those. Those sound cool. Why are there cables in your background? I mean, I could clean them up, but are you here to stare at the floor? Or are you here to talk to me? I mean, that's the main thing. There's a bunch of power cables because that's what power. I'm about to film another video right afterwards anyway, so like, why bother? You here for, or you're gonna look at the floor. Wow, it's so tall. iPhone 10. Wow, it's even taller. iPhone 11. Oh my God, just getting even taller. Yeah, it's gonna be a huge display, but I love big phones, and I cannot lie. What is your opinion on a 100% screen to body ratio, and would you buy a phone with that design? We're all going to. That's where everything's leading. Eventually, they'll be able to ditch the notch, remove bezels entirely, and your phone will be 100% display. And all the companies are going to figure that out. And then all phones are going to look identical, and the only thing that'll matter is the software. So, yeah, that's the running issue with hardware on smartphones right now, is that we're going to get to a point where camera quality, display quality, biometrics, they're all going to be almost identical, and it's not going to matter which one you buy, because software is going to be the ultimate deciding factor. People will keep buying iPhones because of iOS, and Android phones are going to have a really big problem because there's going to be like no hardware exclusives. Everything will have the same. Are you more of a waffle or a pancake guy? And do you use syrup? Miss Food Channel. Signed, someone who's not here to watch the floor. Yeah, we got to make more food videos, huh? I'm more of a waffle guy, but I love a good stack of pancakes and syrup. You're making me hungry right now. Ugh. My goodness. What do you think of the Sport Loop? It's nice. It's a very light watch band, which is helpful because I wear the heaviest Apple Watch in existence, 42 millimeter stainless steel. That's the heaviest. Why did Samsung stop working on the hovering finger over the screen technology they had since S4? Apple is working on that now. Probably because they found out they couldn't really use it in anything very useful. I remember when the S4 came out and you could hover your finger over the display and it would see that. But no one found a use for it, so they probably just stopped. Nope, you can look this up. The ceramic Apple Watch is lighter than stainless steel. That's why it's more expensive, is because it's a lighter watch. Ceramic is not heavier than stainless steel. Lucas Super Chat, it says, what is going to be the one more thing at WWDC? Of course, it could be a lot of things. Hopefully it'll be like AirPower or the SE, but it's also possible that they'll like give us a sneak peek on the new Mac Pro, and they'll like, this is coming next year. The iPhone 10 has aged horribly. It isn't red. Yeah, like iPhone 10, is it still worth $1,000? It's not red, but then again, neither is the Pixel 2. So regardless, neither is the Galaxy phones. Where are the mods? I'm broke now. I'm the mod. We're doing fine. I can read the chat. But thank you for super chatting. I appreciate it. Anyway, we're coming up on the end of the hour here. So thank you guys for your questions. I've got other content and other projects I got to start working on now. But I really recommend checking out the other channels in the Tailosive network, because we're trying to post to them more regularly now, so you guys can get a lot more content. So the winner of the final super chatter of the live stream is Ben Obi Tech. Thank you, Ben Obi Tech, for closing it out with super chat. Will Apple eat Google? No, Google's doing fine. But yeah, anyway, thank you to Ben Obi. Let's see if we got 20 seconds left. So if you were going to ask something, ask it now. Can you do a video about when video 1 when the HomePod comes to New Zealand. I don't know what I would talk about other than just saying it's in New Zealand now. So yeah, it's in New Zealand. When are you going to get back to the 10? I might not. Oh, we got a last one. Have some coffee from Jan, who super chatted. Thank you very much. So new record goes to Jan. Thank you for being the final super chatter of the evening, the afternoon for me. I'm gonna get back into making some more content. But yes, congrats to Jan. Thank you guys for all your comments. Oh, no, it's back to Ben Obi Tech. Thank you very much. Yes, we're doing the super chat war thing. I know it's hilarious, but this war hopefully won't be infinite like Infinity War was. Avengers Infinite Warfare. But yes, thank you. Back to Ben Obi Tech. Thank you guys for your comments and your super chats. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one. Everyone have a great day.